The Tates have denied all charges and say their violent and misogynistic comments online have been taken completely out of context. For more, I'm joined by trial attorney Kelly Hyman to help us walk through all of this. Kelly, their comments and behavior online is one thing, and it may be deplorable, but that's not necessarily criminal. However, they still face criminal charges because of what they're being accused of in Romania.
Yes, that case is still pending as well. And in Romania, they were there, and the allegations are very serious. They are sex trafficking, they're assault as well. So after the UK case, potentially, they'll have to go back to Romania and face those charges as well.
So the arrest here in the United States escalated things, and now their attorney is saying, hey, this is political persecution.
Right. So that's the defense argument, is that it's political prosecution by the UK. Now, we have to remember there are 59 charges against the brothers as well. That's sex trafficking, human trafficking, and they're innocent in the court of law until proven guilty. And we're going to have to see how that plays out.
Because accusations alone does not a conviction make.
Correct. So the prosecution has to prove their case. They have to prove the elements of the charges. Now, it's important to remember, not only are they facing the charges in Romania and also the UK, it's been reported that they are being investigated in Florida as well.
Their attorney sounded off. We have a little bit of that sound. Let's take a listen.
Yes, it's politically motivated. There's no question about it. These guys went to D.C. to exercise their First Amendment rights. They met with members of Congress as private citizens. They met with friends in Washington, D.C. They walked the grounds of the Capitol, and 3 days later, they're in the jumpsuit. You do the math.
The brothers have a high-profile, controversial presence online. How could that affect their case?
From a legal perspective, it should not at all, because when the judge looks at the facts and evidence, so this is going to be an extradition hearing. And so what that means is there's two requirements that the judge is going to look at. First, he's going to look at the charges. Are the charges in the UK something that someone in the U.S. could be charged with? So that's rape, sexual assault. So that element has been met. The second one is the legal standard, if there's a reasonable belief. And so what that means is the judge will look at evidence, witnesses' statements, documents, reports, and see, based on that evidence, would a reasonable person believe that a crime has been committed and the defendants are the ones that committed those crimes? If those requirements are met, the defendants can appeal that decision, and then ultimately, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, will make a determination whether or not to deny the warrant to send him back to the UK.
You mentioned the political implication with Secretary Rubio. The Tates have been linked to Donald Trump Jr. and Barron Trump, and were even reportedly meeting with Republican members of Congress in D.C. just before their arrest. So are you surprised that the White House says they're not getting involved in this case?
I'm not surprised, because we have to look at the severity of the charges. Now, I represent victims of sex trafficking and human trafficking, and these are serious allegations. We have 7 women in the UK that have come forward, and for someone to come forward, it takes a lot of courage, because not only are they traumatized by the events, but then coming forward, telling their story, and then potentially having to appear in court as well as traumatizing for them.
And exposing themselves to public scrutiny, you know, because not everyone always believes the victim's story, right?
That's definitely true. They do not believe the victim's story. But it's also important to remember that in regards to them being in jail, the judge is also going to make a determination of whether, as this process goes through the extradition, of whether the brothers are going to stay in jail or going to be released, pending the determination of whether or not they go back to the UK.
Kelly, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Great to be with you.
Absolutely. Still ahead, it's one of the largest cyclospora outbreaks in the United States that we've ever seen. Thousands of people getting sick across much of the country, while some are questioning the CDC's claims that the outbreak is under control.